Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ray coming to you, bringing you a bunch of information about the new Astromons that just got added, all the new Kikis. In case you haven't seen them yet, this is kind of the Evo 3 model of it right here. And then you got the Evo 1, Evo 2, Evo 3. Basically, cat maids. I think 433 is trying to turn us all into little fluffies. But, whatever. Getting right into it. Moving forward here, we got Kiki balanced fire monster here. They all are going to have the same leader skill, which is not that big of a deal. It's just increases attack power by 30 to 35% in Chaos Tower. For the fire and the water ones, as you'll see, that'll actually make a little bit of difference, but for the other ones, it's not that big of a deal because they're more general use, whereas the fire and water I really see being kind of key monsters for the tower. So if you look here, the first one, the fire one, her skills are shield breaker, 100% chance to break that shield, and defense down, 70% chance to reduce the enemy's defense for 2 turns. It should be said that her active skill is a AoE, so it's going to attack everybody. So where is this going to be useful? Like I said, fire is going to be useful in the tower, primarily at the fire Kira stage. If you haven't yet gotten there in the tower, you will want a shield breaker like 100% to get through that stage. If you don't have a shield breaker, it is an insane game of RNG and mathematics. I was able to do it, but it literally was, I think I had to get her just above the point where she was going to use her shield, get my defense break to go off, and then get my next 2 attackers to actually crit on her. And when I say my next 2 attackers, I'm talking like an Evo 3 Fire Indra and a Dark Seedler. So 2 really hard-hitting elemental advantage monsters that take advantage of that crit really well. If it wasn't for the defense down in both of those critting, I would not have been able to take out her life as much, which means I would never have passed that stage because it doesn't matter how much damage you do, no one's breaking that shield in 1 turn. At least not before she puts it off again. So having that shield breaker is 100% almost required. And then the defense down is great, and then as the leader in the Tower of Chaos, you can actually help increase everybody's attack by 30 to 35%. So again, great Tower Mon, not really that useful elsewhere because her normal skill doesn't really have a lot of things going with it. Maybe in League for things like the Dark Cupid or the Light Venus or the Light Hannah that all have shields that they can put up, but other than that, not really. As far as her stats go, she is a balanced monster, and just as her type dictates, her stats are really balanced. 25,000 HP, 2,300 attack, 2,300 defense, and 2,000 recovery. Not bad overall, but like I said, very much a tower monster. So now we get into the wood one. Here's the wood Kiki. And just like the fire, this one's also another tower monster because you have the buff breaker, the blind on it, as well as the chaos tower leader skill. So you have buff breaker, 100% chance to dispel all enemy enhancements, as well as the blind, 70% chance to blind the enemy for 2 turns. Blinded foes, critical hit rate and damage are reduced. So again, where is she going to be good? Tower, taking off some of those buffs, especially with the different floors and the bosses. I know a lot of people struggled, at least I did as well, with the first time going up the tower. The Hermite stage with the 2 wood Hannahs that just kept putting on defense up, and the Hermite basically provoking everybody. Super annoying, especially when the defense up goes on, and it makes it really hard to burn down that provoker who's just getting all your monsters' attentions. So that buff breaker will be really nice. It also helps out with the Cottonine and God, what's the rock guy's name? He's like the molten magma rock guy. He also has a AoE provoke, and then the Cottonines also put a defense up on him. Super annoying if you don't have the buff breaker. So again, great tower mon. as far as being able to pull it out. And then she's also balanced, and as you can see with her stats, her attack, defense, and recovery are all a little bit lower than the fire ones, but she does have about 3,000 more HP when we get to the 6-star range on her. So fire and water, decent tower mons if you don't have specific role ones yet for like the buff breaker or the shield breaker. They would be great choices, especially since I think this is going to be the next month's rebirth monster. So now we get to the water or the wood one. There's her variant. She is an attack type monster. As you can see just from looking at her stats, her attack is not the greatest. Neither is her defense or recovery. So stats are not overwhelmingly powerful here. But what makes up for it are her skills. She's got 100% to petrify the enemy for 1 turn. In case you haven't dealt with petrify, it's turning them to stone, so they can't do anything, but they have increased defense. And then she's got her hunter, which is increased critical hit damage by 30%. Now, where is she going to be good? League offense, I would say. Primarily because she's going to be able to have that 100% chance to petrify the enemy, which is going to put a stall out on some of those either heavier hitters, the passive healers like a wet Persephone, may put the stun on burst healers right when they're about to put their stun or their heal off, like Dark Cupid or Light Hannah or someone like that also applies a shield, or maybe somebody who applies attack up, defense up, things like that were just going to make it harder to deal with them. Petrify would be a great option, and then critical hit damage. Who doesn't love critical hit damage when it goes up? Again, this one, the tower leader skill is not really going to affect her too much because I don't really see her being used in the tower. Maybe. I'm going to say it again, maybe on floor 70 with the fire vampire, because he is annoying as and he will heal himself a lot, but if he's stunned with shock or petrify or just straight up stun, he can't do that, which would be nice. She would have element disadvantage, but that would really be the only place I could see her being used in the tower, simply to stall out that thing. But yeah, league attacker, not too bad, not shabby. Then we get into the light one. So let's go see the light one. The light one is nice, actually really interesting because it has a brand new skill. First, we'll take a look at its stats. Defender type, 20 at 6 stars max, 26,000 HP, 2,400 attack, almost as much as the wood one, 3,500 defense. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. 1,900 recovery. So as far as defender type monsters go, stats are really good on this one. Looking at her skills though, expose weakness. This is a new skill that no other monster has in this game. Grants a 70% chance to expose the enemy's weakness for 2 turns. Okay, so it's a 2-turn debuff. Exposed foes take increased damage from the next attack. This is really confusing wording. Simply because one has the debuff lasting for 2 turns. The other one has the debuff lasting for just the next time it's attacked. So I don't know if it's like a kind of like those 50% off deals. Get 50% off if you come in within the next 2 days, but you can only use that coupon once, is kind of what I'm thinking. So expose weakness is going to be pretty sweet, especially on things like golems and titans and colossus, if you do level her up, because when you think about it, if you can get a defense down, which is going to obviously lower the monster's defense, which is going to make you hit harder, and then you get exposed weakness on there, and then you hit with a really heavy hitter of yours, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. Now, it doesn't exactly say how much more damage it takes. What I've read on several Reddits and different sources of information say that the increased damage is going to be 100% increased damage. So it's going to double whatever damage does happen to it. So let's say you get the defense down and you hit normally with a defense down in your monster for, say, I don't know, after all the attacks are said and done, 20,000 attack or 20,000 damage. With exposed weakness on there, you're actually going to be doing 40,000 damage. Not a bad debuff at all. Pretty useful in a lot of places. League would be a great one. The Tower would be a great one. Dungeons would be a great one because it is a single target debuff. It would be something she is constantly applying to, say, like the Golem dungeon. Get to that boss and she just is like, oh, expose weakness, oh, expose weakness, oh, expose weakness. And then your heavy hitters are like, yay, double damage, yay, double damage, yay, double damage. And then her AoE applies shock at a 70% chance rate, which is insane. Most of my shockers, aside from Light Valkyrie, which you can get from the Light contract, only apply shock at like a 60% rate. So to have an AoE, and those are all single target, so to have an AoE applying shock at a 70% rate for one turn, wow. This is going to be really good in things like League and the Tower and scenarios. It might be really good like in the story modes, helping with farming. And again, her leader skill increases allies attack by 30 to 35%. Not much of a big deal. Especially since you'll probably be using her in very many other places besides the Tower. But still not a bad leader skill to have. So moving on to the Dark, and the last one that we got going on, Dark Kiki here, an attacker. So, you know, if you had Light and Dark Kikis on your team, you'd have a defender and attacker. But here, looking at her stats at 6 stars, you got 27, almost 28,000 HP, 3,300 attack, which is really not bad. We'll take a look at a dark attacker here real quick, just to make a comparison. One that a lot of people use. We'll actually look at 2. The first one being the Gaitito, because if you were playing during the time of the Gaitito capture events, this was the one that everybody was telling you to get because he's just amazing. His base attack is only 3,200. So Dark Kiki's got him beat. And the other one that a lot of people grabbed when it was their rebirth month, and still people are like, please bring back Dark Mona. We want Dark Mona. Her attack at 6 stars is 3,228. Oh, I see why people want that though. Alright. So going back to Kiki here. So 32, 32, and her base attack is at 33, which makes her a just initially stronger hitter than the other 2. When we take a look at her skills, we see that 1 is providing a 100% chance of 20% HP regain there. So every attack she gets back 20% of her health. Even at base health, that means she's getting back about 4,000 HP every turn if you have absolutely 0 HP gems on her. And then her active skill is increased damage dealt by 3,000, or not 3,000, that'd be insane, 30% increase of damage dealt with her active skill. Again, it's an AoE. Where is she going to be good? Pretty much everywhere. Is she going to be as great as Dark Mona for farming? No. Why? Because Dark Mona and Gaitito both have a SP gain skill for their normal, so they're just constantly rebuilding that SP bar, whereas the Dark Kiki has an HP regain. So are they going to be as fast a runs? No. Could they be more stable runs? Absolutely. Because you pair something like Adrenaline with other passive healers, or you pair them up with burst healers, the monsters with Adrenaline are taking care of that passive healing themselves, which is just going to help your team survive. So while yes, Dark Gaitito and Dark Mona, both will give you probably phenomenally fast runs if you got them gemmed up right. Dark Kiki is going to give you more stable runs because she's going to heal herself, and you're not going to have to rely as heavily on your healers to keep them alive. Let me tell you, just from experience with Gaitito, having one 6-star max, pretty decent gems on him, still really hard to keep him alive if the other monsters decide that they're going to attack him first. It's just a fact. He doesn't heal himself, he doesn't do any of that stuff, so he just kind of falls over and dies. Does he kill things really fast? Absolutely. But he's more like a glass cannon, whereas Kiki is more just like a regular cannon. A little bit sturdier, can take a hit or two, will rebuild herself and just keep plugging away. So those are the 5 new monsters that they just introduced. We got all 5 of the Kikis. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments section of the video. If you want to get a hold of me, I'm part of Beth OP. If you got that Discord, you can go ahead and hit me up on there. But yeah, thanks for watching.